Alrighty, boys. Let's get into the slate. But first off, if you are watching this and you don't know who I am, I am Shook. I think it's really important to, if you have Reddit, to come over to this Reddit. It's called DF Sports with one S. I make posts here for NFL, NBA every day. I make updates with all the news that comes out. Really important to be here, in my opinion. People talk strategy. You can ask me questions. I will answer you. If you ever want to know questions on pivots, where my head's at, etc., etc., you can ask me questions. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, I'll always respond to you too. You can message me on Reddit, or you can message me on Twitter at ToryLangley1992. But if you do follow me, just know that I tilt a lot on Twitter. So if that gets annoying, just unfollow me, please. Please unfollow me. So yeah, and then if you are interested in a Discord, I'll have a link to that below, where I'll have player pools for cash and GPPs, cores for cash and GPPs, as well as in-depth videos going over the slate before the slate on where my head's at. And yeah, let's get into the slate. Before we do, let's look at my lineups from tonight. Excuse me. All right, let's do this. Let's look at my lineups from tonight. Really painful night for me. And I'll tell you why in a second. Here. So this was night slate. The core that I had for night slate was Booker, Sexton, Olynyk, and Miles Turner. Obviously, the blowout really, really killed that. So that was chalked. Or no, I had Booker, Dario Saric, Miles Turner, and Kelly Olynyk. The blowout just killed that. Sexton was fine even in the blowout. Booker absolutely smashed. Olynyk freaking fouled out in like 20 minutes, man. I just need one slate where there's just no bullshit, and I'll smash, even though I've been smashing while running like garbage. And then obviously Miles Turner just barely plays because of the blowout. Pretty sure he got into a little bit of foul trouble too. And then on the main slate, I made a pivot that's going to kill me for the rest of my life. So I had TJ McConnell in the guard spot. I swapped to Nemhard, who went for 40 fantasy points. And then you want to know what I do like 10 minutes before that game locks? I swapped to Damian Lee. Nimhard went for 38.75 fantasy points. You add that to my score, I scored 286. Oh, would have cashed. Yep. We're not done. Oh, we're not done. Low-owned Pascal Siakam picks up 5 fouls in 10 minutes and loses out on massive minutes. Low-owned Keldon Johnson. Not low-owned. 7 of 23 shooting. You want to know what my core was today? My core absolutely destroyed the slate. DeJounte Murray, AJ Griffin, who I don't understand why he was this low owned. Najee Marshall at low ownership was a core play for me. Absolutely broke the slate. Zach Collins fouls out in 20 minutes. Cool, dude. Once again, if you're new here, I tilt a lot. Please just skip over it if you don't want to hear it. But I should have been a millionaire tonight. I really should have. Unfortunate. We move on to another slate. That's all you can really do. I think I made the correct plays. I liked my lineup. That's all you can really care about. I think I made the right plays. So, yeah. By the way, although we were all over Atlanta tonight. We were all over Murray. We were all over Griffin. We were all over Jalen. We were all over Culver. So, really good night in the Discord for a lot of people. Let's go over this freaking 4-game slate. So it's a tough spot here for Orlando. Toronto plays slow, 22nd in pace, 7th in defensive rating. Boom, let's go. But yeah, obviously Cole Anthony and Markelle Fultz are going to be back. They got a minutes increase today. They both played around 30 minutes today, which is pretty important because that thins out the rotation. Bull just like barely played, and I'm not sure why. I wonder if that's because Markel Fultz and Cole Anthony are playing a little bit more, and they're going a little bit smaller with like Mo, because Mo played a ton tonight. I'm not really sure. If any of you in the comments can let me know why Bull only played 23 minutes, I have a feeling it's because Fultz and Cole Anthony were playing a little bit more and they went smaller. But yeah, let me know if any of you guys know. Unfortunately, Popcorn Machine isn't updated yet, but tough spot here. Not much stands out to me with Orlando. Banchero, 8.2K, just a contrarian play for me. He's been bad of late. Bull, if they're going to go smaller and they're going to increase Cole Anthony and Marco Fultz minutes limit, I can't get to him, assuming that's the case. If we go back to normal minutes of like 35-ish, I think he's fine. I think the matchup is to where he's priced appropriately. Normally, I'd say he's too cheap if we're going to get 35 minutes of him. But like I said, I think the matchup definitely is a little bit of a concern. Franz, no thank you. Cole Anthony is fine if you want to go there. This guy's caused me an incredible pain. Just a GPP play. I do have interest in Markel Fultz at 5.6K. If we're going to get another increase in minutes here, to like maybe like 32, because Mosley said he's looking to give Fultz a couple more minutes during Friday's matchup against the Cavaliers. That's not a couple more minutes. That's almost 15 minutes gained. So if we're going to get another increase of Markel Fultz at 5.6K, even if he plays 30 minutes, I still kind of like him at this price tag. Markel Fultz is a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. He's not scared to be aggressive. Just a guy that can get you fantasy points in many, many, many ways. Averages well over a fantasy point per minute. So if nobody's going to be on Fultz tomorrow, I am very intrigued by him for GPPs. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. Mo started tonight, 4.7K. This is what I will say. I don't think his minutes are secure. But I will say this. If he starts again and we're going to get 25 to 30, even more minutes from him, I think he's a really good value play. But I'm not convinced that he's going to play that much again. So just be a little bit careful there. But they have shown to not want to play him, especially in some matchups. So just be a little bit careful there. But assuming we get similar run from Mo, I really like it for value. On to Toronto. So it's a good spot here for the Toronto guys. Orlando is middle of the pace in pace, I believe. No, they're down here. 25th in pace. They're bad defensively, though. 27th in defensive rating. So I'm probably going to go right back to Siakam tomorrow. I think it's a really good spot for him. Going to play, I'm not worried about a back-to-back. So we'll just have to monitor that. It is a back-to-back, but I'm not too worried about it. I think normally he's going to play huge minutes if he can stay out of foul trouble. Guy that's going to stuff the stat sheet. Like spot for him, so I think Siakam, for me personally, stands out as one of the better spend-ups on the slate. OG, no thank you. Fred VanVleet is now at a price point to where we're not going to see him this cheap ever again. I know he's been god-awful, but we know the foreign ceiling that Fred VanVleet usually has. His peripheral stats have been way, way down this year, but there's going to be a Fred VanVleet explosion game, like this game, to where he goes for like almost a triple-double. So I think Fred VanVleet's an interesting play. I don't think a lot of people are going to be on him. And last year, he was like a 9K player. Early in the season, he was like an 8.5K player. So we're getting Fred VanVleet at a nice discount here. And I don't think a lot of people are going to play him. So I kind of want to take advantage of that early before his price starts going back up. Scotty Barnes, no thank you. And then it's really hard to get to the bench. They're just running such a tight rotation that I really can't do it. Pace up spot here for Oklahoma City. Minnesota's 5th in pace and 12th in defensive rating. So this is going to all depend on SGA news. This news changes the entire slate. So if SGA is in, I think SGA makes for a very good spend up. Not scared of the matchup against Minnesota. He's matchup proof. Just doing everything for the team. He's like a one-man army. So love SGA if he plays, assuming he is not on a minutes limit. Josh Giddey at this price tag, if SGA plays, will be overpriced. Lou Dort would be overpriced. And then going to the bench, they're all just GPP plays. Poker will start. He'll probably play, who knows? He could play 9 minutes. He could play 30. But good point per minute guy, just a GPP play. And then everyone else is just really hard for me to get to. Um, if you're 150 maxing, I'd take some shots on these guys like Poku, JRE. I think they're fine to take shots on. Maybe even sprinkle in some Jalen Williams. But for me personally, my one lineup, it's really hard for me to get to them. Now, if SGA is out, Josh Giddey is just going to be an absolute smash. Even at 7.5K, he is too cheap. He should be like an 8.5K-ish player with no SGA. Just his usage is just insane with no SGA. His peripheral stats, as we know, are going to always be there. Phenomenal rebounder, just phenomenal vision on the court. Um, his assist rate, his potential assists. We don't care about his assist. We care about his potential assists. And his potential assist with no SGA, I would have to assume is one of the highest in the league, if not the highest, outside of like Chris Paul. um, so yeah, really like Josh Giddey, assuming if SGA is out. And I think Lou Dort would be a solid play as well. He's kind of like a mini Dylan Brooks. Going to shoot the ball a ton. Has a low floor if he's not hitting his shots. But I think he's fine at 5.9K. Jalen Williams did start with no SGA. If that's the case again, fire up Jalen Williams. I think he'd be a pretty good value play. Not expecting him to shoot this well again, but he's a guy that could, get you a few rebounds, stuff the stat sheet. I think if Minnesota's going to double Giddey or SGA, if SGA is in, that's going to help. Or I wouldn't go to Jalen if SGA is in, but if they're going to double like Giddey to force him, to I don't think they double Giddey. I don't think that makes sense. Take that away. But yeah, if Jalen Williams starts, I definitely think he's a pretty good value play. Poku, same thing. Minutes all over the place. Just a GPP play. Jerry started. He played 26 minutes. If he starts again, I'm fine with it. But just know they will yank him. I think this is a matchup to where against Gobert where they might need him out there more if SGA is out. So I think Jerry is a solid value if SGA is out and he starts. Trey Mann, I think, is a solid value play. He put 27 minutes off the bench. I'd assume he'd have a similar role, but you never know with Oklahoma City Thunder. They could do a number of things. They could play Aaron Wiggins more. They can go to Wiggins over Trey Mann. They could do a number of things. So just be careful there. This is all assuming he plays similar minutes. So if we're going to get 25 plus minutes of Trey Mann, I do like him for value. Really hard for me to get to anyone else on Oklahoma City. Let's go over Minnesota. So it's a good spot here for Minnesota. Oklahoma City Thunder 6th in pace and 16th in defensive rating. So cat's out. I love all the big three here. And Rudy, D'Angelo Russell, I think all look like three of the better plays on the slate. Anthony Edwards, 8.6K. 8.6K. You can't expect 8 stocks again, but they're going to run such a tight rotation. They're going to play the main three huge minutes. It's a great spot here. Anthony Edwards is going to lead the way for this team. I think he looks really good. I think Rudy Gobert at 6.9K looks really good after a bust at chalk. Phenomenal spot here against OKC. I don't know what to say. He destroyed OKC last time. I don't see how Oklahoma City Thunder even remotely beats him on the glass. I think this is just like a spot where you could see Rudy Gobert go for 20-20. So I really like Rudy Gobert after he burnt everyone as chalk. And I think D'Angelo Russell looks pretty good as well. The minutes, just playing huge minutes. Has a high floor. Ceiling is there if he can get that double-double or triple-double. Yeah, they all look pretty good. I don't have a favorite on who I like the most. And I think Jaden McDaniels is a solid value play as well. And then we're going to have to get to the bench. No Cat, so I'd assume Kyle Anderson continues to start. I don't know if we're going to get 39 minutes. Jaden McDaniels was out, but assuming he starts, I like Kyle Anderson for value. And then Jalen Noel, assuming McLaughlin can't go, I'd assume would have still a pretty hefty role off the bench. Now, keep in mind, McDaniels is back, so he could lose minutes. I don't think we'll get 30 minutes again, but I'd assume he'd stay in that like 20-minute range, maybe a little bit more, making him a viable value. That would look solid. So I really like Minnesota tomorrow, and I'm ready to get burned. So let's have fun with it. All right, Warriors, second in pace, and their defense has been way down this year. 20th in defensive rating. One sec. So I've been targeting the Warriors all year. Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green. Actually, I want to take a look at the rotation tonight. I don't think Popcorn Machine has it up, but so Jabari played 30, Sengun only 24, Jalen Green 37, Kevin Porter Jr. 33. So, was Sengun in foul trouble? He was not. Okay, so outside of Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green, it's really hard for me to get to anyone else. They're just running such a deep rotation. They're spreading out the minutes. I will say Sengun has this type of ceiling, especially in this matchup against Golden State. Golden State has been really bad against bigs, and I think Yusuf Nurkic is going to be extremely popular tomorrow. So I do really like Sengun as a pivot off Yusuf Nurkic, if that's the case where he's going to be popular. I have a feeling Sengun is probably going to get a decent amount of ownership, especially at 6.2K. This price tag is just way too cheap. So minutes have been all over the place, but I really like Sengun tomorrow. I think the guards are solid. Jabari Smith at 5.5K has been decent of late. Just because the matchup, no, I don't like the individual matchup for him. But yeah, I'll probably pass on Jabari actually. And I don't think I'm going to anyone else on Houston. Phenomenal spot here for the Warriors. Houston plays fast, no defense, 12th in pace, and they're just 20th in defensive rating. So targeting guards against Houston, I don't see why we change that now. I think Steph right now looks amazing as a spend up. Wiggins, Draymond. I want to take a look at the rotation for tonight. I know Wiggins got into massive foul trouble. So that definitely helped some spots. Okay. So yeah, I think they're all solid plays. Wiggins, Draymond, Clay in this matchup. The only risk is blowout. I think if I had to pick my favorite secondary play from the Golden State Warriors, it has to be Draymond Green. Draymond Green is doing a phenomenal job running that second unit, and he's been taking more shots of late. So I think Draymond looks good. There's so many good plays on the slate. Outside of that, nothing for me really. Kevon Looney, 4.3K. I think he's fine. But no standouts outside of Draymond and Steph Curry. Portland at Utah. So Utah 10th in pace. And where are they? 22nd defensive rating. So Dame's going to continue to be out. Josh Hart is doubtful. So let's pull up that rotation from the last game with no Josh Hart. That was the 30th. If you guys aren't doing this, I definitely suggest doing this. You should be looking at this after every game, in my opinion. So they ran a pretty tight rotation, like they have been doing of late. Shaedon Sharpe did play 27 minutes. That was kind of a surprise. He actually played over Watford in the fourth. Okay. So Simons just isn't leaving the court. He's playing, I believe, the most minutes in the league right now with no Dame. So good matchup against Utah. I like Simons quite a bit. I've been playing him every slate. I don't see why I'd change that now. So love Simons. Grant has been phenomenal, especially with no Josh Hart. They're going to have to do everything for this team. So Grant is fine. Yusuf Nurkic, I think, will be popular tomorrow. Phenomenal spot. Utah has been terrible against opposing bigs. I think he looks really good. There is one issue here. I think there is a chance that they could limit Nurkic's minutes, especially if Utah goes small. So just be a little bit careful there. Winslow, they didn't up his price enough. I think he looks really solid at 5.2K. I don't understand why they didn't up his price. Just with him being able to stuff the stat sheet and with him playing this many minutes, he should be like 6K. So I still like Winslow even at that price tag. Watford, I believe, started. Did I lose that? Yeah, Watford started. If he starts again, like him for value. He did not play in the fourth, but he was on pace for huge minutes. I don't think they're going to close with Shaedon Sharpe again. So I do like Watford for value. Sharpe, no thank you. I don't think they're going to close with Sharpe again. I don't think that makes any sense, really. Portland. Have they been slow this year? There's no way. They have been. 28th in pace and 24th in defensive rating. But I don't understand. Their defense was so good. I don't know how it went down so much, but you guys all know what's going to happen. Utah is going to absolutely smash tomorrow because everyone's going to be off them after they were chalked tonight. But Markkanen, I'm fine. Fine with. Clarkson, solid. Olynyk, 6K, meh. Okay option. Sexton, meh. Fine with it. Malik Beasley, fine with it at that price. Vanderbilt, fine with it at that price. The only thing with Portland is their wing defense, I believe, has been very, very good. So just be careful with how good of they are defending wings. So I believe, if I recall correctly, their wing defense is very, very good. So just be careful there. But no standouts for me on Utah. If I'm gauging this wrong again and they stand out point per dollar tomorrow a lot, I'll take the L, but no standouts here. I think there are mid-range plays that look a lot better. Well, I think they're all solid plays. I think I'd just rather go to other options, in my opinion. But I hope this helped, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.